T. Reyes.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's going
Happy
on,
Thursday,
T?
y'all.
What's going on, T? How's everything going with you?
Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. Busy week in wrestling. The most anticipated event coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow, 10 p.m. Rampage. Tomorrow. So many things happen. The wide, crazy world of wrestling as we know it. How about you, brother? How you been?
Oh, I've been stressed out. I've just been working long hours at work and plus getting ready for this. And just last Saturday, we did Breakfast and Body Slams in the studio at Last Out Media with the rest of the Devereaux Sports crew. Uh, we had a good time. Uh, we had our guest here, Rob. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know where he went. He was on the stream here, but you know what? Uh, I'm going to bring in the rest of the crew right now. Up next, the man who's going to be making his return back to the ring for ACPW, Dennis Reaper.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, brother? How's it
No,
going on, brother? I'm begging you.
I'm just tired. Just tired,
You're tired. Yeah, long day at work.
dude. I think probably 2 hours in tomorrow I'll be overtime.
Yeah, I'm pretty much already in overtime, and I didn't even uh finish the first week out yet. So, but
Yeah, I don't. We had no power on Friday, so like I can't check. We didn't have a clock to clock in until today. So,
dude, don't get me started with stuff going wrong at work. With the guys who are doing work there, where we lost our internet. We lost our power to one of our outlets that takes care of our metal detector. They were pulling pipes, and we had leaks in the building. We don't know what the hell these guys were doing, but they were screwing up big time. But
trust me, I know, dude. We fried the meter at our job for how much power we were kicking. That Pico had to come out to our building and literally yank it off the wall that we melted it inside.
Well, you know what? We're missing someone here. I like to bring in another hard worker of ours. You know, I said I was going to keep him out of the room in the green room, but my our good friend Mr. Noxious said to bring his ass on in to have a good time. It'd be like a party. So, hey, Mikey, come on down.
Hey!
Whoa.
I think he got a haircut too.
He got the,
I did. Look at that.
Like
No more blonde hair. No more blonde hair.
Oh,
This is also why. This is why I'm also the better Bernard.
Yes. Yes. Put it out there. We all know you are.
That's right.
Indeed, the better Bernard. We didn't even start the show full yet, and we already got comments going on. Someone's saying, no sound. Hey, buddy, I can hear you. You can hear me. It must be on that person's end who probably can't hear because everyone else can hear.
Oh yeah, hear you loud and clear.
Definitely. Well, first and foremost, before I introduce our guest, as always, gotta give the cheap plugs to the rest of the Devereaux sports teams out there that be holding it down in studio. None other than the Gobbler Inc., the Sullivan Squad, the Old Heads, the MMA Misfits, and I don't believe we have a name yet for cheesesteak. Yeah, cheesesteak Chucky and the Hambo.
That Scrapple sounded good though.
Scrapple sounds pretty damn good for those guys. But eventually, oh yeah, and let's not forget the redheaded stepchild of Devereaux Sports, the guys that call themselves them 215 boys. That's right. They are Dallas Cowboy fans who have a podcast show on Devereaux Sports.
How's that possible?
Yeah. Oh my God, my stomach's just turning right now. But you know what? It's all love. It's all family. We're here to share to the world. But without any further ado, let's bring on our special guest. Now, this may not be PG. This may not be too subtle for the ear. So if you got kids, you might want to move them out the room.
They said it, Pat, not me.
Unless you don't care
Pat, do
about
not
that.
let your kids watch the show.
Pat, yes, Pat, we're warning you now. Do not let your kids watch this. This gentleman coming on, and yes, I use the term gentleman very, very loosely. And that's one way to describe him, gentleman. No lie, he's a great guy. I known him for many years. He is the owner of Classic Championship Wrestling and Fort Knox Pro Wrestling Training Center. None other than, Pat's gonna kill me for this, Rob fucking Noxious.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Rob?
There he
How's it
is.
going?
What up?
Sorry, Pat. I guess your kids are going to hear all this stuff in school anyway.
Yeah. We
Where do you think they learn it?
we've been trying to cut back, trying to be more PG, but
Okay.
we actually did give the warning in the beginning, so
Okay.
hopefully people heed our
It's true.
warning.
I'll keep it PG for the most part. I just,
I heard the
I'm
laugh.
a
That
professional.
Is Haley chuckling?
Yeah, that was Haley laughing.
for y'all don't know Haley, that's Rob's daughter, aka my daughter Jocelyn's BFF. They're like sisters.
Sure
And all. Rob's her second dad.
Yeah.
So I'm like kicked to the curb. The hell with me. But yeah, we got people already chiming in. Go Rob. Hey Rob, good to see you. My brother, all coming from Joe Dudley and Anthony Bialy.
Where at?
What I'm trying to do is your podcast intro was so long it like was wearing my battery down.
Well, keep that thing plugged in.
Right there.
I don't want to be on
Keep
camera.
that plugged in.
Haley don't want to be on camera, so I'm gonna
All right.
put it over here a little bit.
But you got that thing plugged in though, right? So it doesn't die on
Yeah,
you.
we're good. Now we can get
All
out.
right. Well, let's get
Get
down to
serious
brass.
here.
Let's get down to brass tacks, brother.
Absolutely.
We known each other for a very, very long time.
Yes, sir. Way before our
but-
kids were born.
We're gonna go before we met.
Okay.
So basically, before we met is the story that everybody gives in the wrestling world, which is the typical same old thing. What made you get into wrestling? Who was who did you idolize? That typical question.
And I got the greatest story, man. So I didn't even think I was going to be a wrestler. I loved watching wrestling. My grandfather loved watching wrestling. You couldn't tell him, you couldn't even say that F word in his house about wrestling, And but I never thought I was going to be a wrestler, but I used to sing. That was my thing. And my brother went to jail for beating somebody's ass, and he met Steve Blackman, and Blackman was like, "Hey, I'm getting ready to open up a wrestling school. You know anybody interested?" So my brother hit me up, sent me a one of them letters that you get from the jailhouse, and he's like, "Hey, you want to try out for Steve Blackman?" And I was like, "I never heard of him." And he was like, "Well, he was a big deal." So back in the day, we didn't have internet. We had to go through PWI to find our info.
Yeah.
And so I read about Steve and how he went to the Heart Dungeon, and he was like MVP of the year up in Stampede. He was Rookie of the Year and all that different stuff, man. And so I was like, all right, let's do this. And so Steve was working his way back to going into the WWF as the Lethal Weapon. So, him and another guy named Johnny Rebel were training us in a WCW ring. And Johnny Rebel was like moonlighting the WCW ring. WCW didn't know he was training people in it. So what happened was we were on a show with the Warlord, and Warlord went back and was like, "Hey, I wrestled in a WCW ring." and then they found out where it came from. They ended up coming and getting the ring, and then wrestling was gone, and I had nowhere to go, and I was wrestling on Brian Bowser's show.
Oh, Bulldog Brian
yeah.
Bowser. Oh, I remember him.
Rest in peace. He just passed away not long ago.
Oh, I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, he just passed away a couple months ago. And so we, I was like, I didn't know what to do. So I met this guy named Johnny Graham, and he was like, man, that was a great suplex you did, kid. How'd you do it? And I was like, oh man, I've been working on that. I had no clue what I was doing. I just did a suplex and floated over and pinned the dude. So, but he liked it, and then I was like telling him the situation with Steve and Johnny, with Johnny Rebel, and he was like, well, Mark Mest and Troy Mest have a school, and I was like, okay. So we would go down 2 hours one way, man, every other day, like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday it was, and we'd go down there, work out as long as we could, and then take that 2 hour drive back, and that's that story, man. Like, that's why I don't understand when these kids are like, oh, it's a 30-minute drive or it's an hour drive. Nah, man, put that work in. If it's something you want and it's a dream, you got to do it, man.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna make your dreams come true except you.
Yeah, I know. Back in the day, I was always seeing guys coming from like way out in New Jersey to come into body slams, or guys from our area travel down to the House of Pain Wrestling Federation down in Hagerstown, Maryland. You remember that place too as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, the guys don't want to do the drive anymore unless they're getting something out of it. And the thing they don't realize, what they're getting out of it is more knowledge, more training, of working with others. If they keep training with the same old people, that's the only way they're gonna know.
That's the only style they're gonna know. Yeah. Yeah, Johnny Graham used to take me everywhere, man. I'd go to the Mess Brothers. That was like, that became my home. Was the dungeon became my home. But me and Graham would go to Maryland and train. We'd go to Jersey and train. We'd go all over to train, man. And that's why I learned all kinds of different styles of wrestling, and could really, when I was younger, I could work with anybody, because I knew different styles of wrestling.
And that was a key thing about guys like me and you, because we traveled from school to school, picking the brains and learning from everybody. But then yet, we still have our main home school that we always represented. So that was cool, because you had Blackman, I had over there at Body Slams. You had
Crew School.
Yeah, you had the Crew School, IWA with Jimmy Dio. Dennis, you were a dungeon kid, right?
I'm a dungeon kid.
Yes, he is.
All right, Mike, you're just Frankie Frizzo's baby brother, or big
older brother.
Older
brother.
Okay.
Older brother.
Okay, so you're the old head.
Oh yeah.
So you got through the whole school thing, trying around, Graham taking you everywhere and stuff like that. Now, when we hooked up, when we how long did you have already in the business by the time me and you met?
This is gonna really make you laugh. The night me and you wrestled, is that what you're talking about?
Yes, for the first time we met. Yeah.
That was the first time I used the name Rob Noxious.
Oh, really?
Yes. They gave me some bullshit. They gave me some bullshit name. Johnny Rebel did, I had to be the Hispanic Ricky Hernandez.
Wait, didn't you give that name to one of the other kids?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
That's where I remember that name from. Like, hold up, you gave it to one of his students.
Yep, I sure did.
Oh, that's funny.
That's your offspring.
Yep. Ricky Hernandez. What kind of shit is that?
Okay, so that was the first time using the name Rob Noxious. First thing in my head was obnoxious. But
absolutely, that's the whole point.
But how long did you have in the business between the time you started to the time we hooked up?
Oh, Jesus, probably about maybe a year.
Really?
Maybe 2. I don't know. It wasn't. It wasn't long, man. It wasn't long at all.
No, because I was thinking 2, 3 years. That's what I was
Yeah,
kind of thinking.
it was like
You
1
know,
or 2. Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't long. I was so green, man. You know.
and your outfit was green too.
Oh my God, it was horrible.
um.
It was picked up that day. It was horrible.
All right. So you're freshly green in the business, and you're working for, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna go say bullshit companies, because then again, a lot of them were mom and pop shows where guys who just want to run, and they'll take whatever green guys they can get
Absolutely.
for free. What was some of the most memorable uh companies that you worked for in the beginning that probably stuck out?
Oh man. You mean like that were shitholes
Yes,
or
yes. I didn't want to say it, but I figured, okay,
uh,
ones
I
that
don't
you'd be
know,
like, what
man.
the hell am I
You
doing
know,
here?
there sometimes I still do that. You know? But I can't really call any of them shitholes because they took a chance with me. So, I really don't want to be
So,
that much of a dickhead, you
hey,
know.
hey, Rob, on the screen we have a comment from Tammy Sue. Are you working out at NXT Center, or did you sign a contract? Yeah, yeah, Rob. Did you
No, that
sign
was
that contract yet?
Yeah.
all right.
You're
So
gonna sidestep the question, come right out with it. No.
no, I'm
You
gonna
trying to
tell you the
hide those
story.
big bucks from the wife?
I'm gonna tell you that story. So it was like a couple of my students where they sent their info out for a tryout, and they sent their info out for a tryout. Then my son sent it out, and then I seen everybody on Facebook sending it out. So I just I just screenshotted it and said, "Hey, look what I did. I didn't do that shit. I'm too old for that, man.
Shit.
What
Too
would
funny.
I like to go down there and help train or something, or tell some stories? Absolutely. But
Yeah, we all would in our own little ways.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, back to you what you were saying about the shitto promotion that you probably work for.
I mean, there was this one shithole that I will say about this story because this was a real shithole. Um, this dude named Joe Rogers. I'll put his ass out there because I don't care. But I was trying to help this kid. He was doing a show in Pittsburgh, and he had like Balls on there. He had um, Just Incredible on there. He had all these guys on there, and he paid for all the. He got all the ticket money, and before the show even started, he bounced, took the money, and rolled. And they thought because I was running the locker room for this kid that I was the man in charge of the show and in charge of the money. And Balls came at me and was like, "Where's my money?" And I'm like, "Dude, first off, this is not my show. Well, you better get me my." I said, "Look, man, you talking to the wrong motherfucker because I'll punch you in the face."
Yo,
I said,
it's
"I'm telling you, I'm out of money too. We rented a van to come down there. We had like what 6 people with us, to help with the show. Now that was a shit show. The only person who got paid was Just Incredible.
yeah, it's funny though. You brought up balls and not getting paid and this and that. There was a story. I wasn't there for this event, but I heard the story. It was in this uh, regional area. You got me there. It was in this regional
Uh
area,
huh.
and apparently balls was on it, and apparently the purse went missing, and balls was nowhere to be found. So that's a story that I heard
Yeah.
about that, and until this day, it's very skeptical if it actually happened or not. Because, like I said, I wasn't there. I just heard what I heard.
Well, and there was a lot of stories about different guys, around that time who was supposedly taking purses and stuff like that. But I got to say that later on in life, when I hooked back up with Balls, he was awesome, man. He was clean, he was sober, and he was so good to Jamal. Like he wrestled Jamal and he messed up, and he was telling Jamal over and over again how I'm so sorry, man. Let's wrestle again, and I can make it right. And you know what I mean. So he made up for being he and how was he really being a dick? This dude left and made it look like I was the bad guy. So
Yeah.
but yeah. So, but that's basically the only real shithole of a show that I was on, like that I could, you know, I got stories for days, man.
I'm
I got a,
sure.
I got a story about when me and Jay Money, we used to call ourselves the show savers because we would go to all these shitty shows and we would work, and of course we would be the show savers. So we wrestled for this one company, um, and three of my guys, Jr. Manitoba, Damien Destruction, and Jason Havoc, got arrested for heckling the wrestlers.
What?
Yeah.
For heckling the wrestlers.
They got arrested. They got disorderly conduct charges for what they were doing was they were calling out the moves before the guys did it.
Oh my God. Wow.
That's not right. Leave us alone. We didn't do anything.
But the best part about the whole thing when they were handcuffed and they were being let out, the crowd started chanting CCW. It was amazing. But
Now,
yeah,
it's funny. It's funny you mention CCW right now because you being the owner, right? Like, can we say the owner, or do you have a figurehead that goes out there?
Well, we used to try to do that, but then people just kept on calling me the owner during promos and shit. And, they ruined that. So,
so how did now since you already brought CCW, I'm just gonna go out there. How did you come up with CCW? I'm sure everyone wanted to run an organization. Everybody in history.
Absolutely not me. Not me.
What was it, an accident?
Absolutely. It was more of a like pass the buck. So Fumar originally had CCW. They just wanted to do something different, and we stuck to the formula that, all these old guys had that formula. And that's what it was back then. It was their formula, and that's the way it worked for them. It was you built up to the main event, and Fumar and Damien Destruction had this idea. They came to me with this idea saying, hey, let's get a bunch of guys together and do our own thing. And I say it before every meeting. I tell the guys all the time, I'm like, hey, this isn't like any other show. We don't build up the card to the main event. We expect everyone to wrestle their match like it's the main event. And if the match after you doesn't do better than you, then fuck them. They need to go and train and get better so they can steal the show from you, but steal the spotlight from the match before them. So, and that's what they wanted to do. And I was definitely down with that. And so Fumar had it. Fumar got tired of it and gave it to Damien Destruction. Damien Destruction had this great idea of doing a cruiserweight tournament, and it bombed really bad. It was bad.
Was all big guys?
No, they were little guys, but it was just, it was basically the same flippy match over and over and over again. You know what I mean? So, and then he was like,
but back then, but back then, I'm sure their flippy guys wasn't like the guys today where they're kicking out of every damn finisher,
yeah,
breaking each other's necks, like each guy is practically paralyzed and dead and still kicking out like they are today. But back then it was like boom, you hit that key high spot move, whatever, bam, it was done, right?
Yeah, our flippy guys that stayed with us for a while was Ruckus and Sanjay. Ruckus was a little chunky guy back then, and he was still he was keeping up with every single cruiserweight, man.
And
Ruckus is amazing,
and that's the thing about Ruckus, though. See, before he lost all that weight and got thin, now to me, with him being thin, he's just another flippy guy, like you say. He's like everyone else but back then, when he's when you see a heavier guy run around doing all this crazy stuff at his size, it was like, then that's a attraction.
See, I don't know about that because Ruckus still, man. You watch Ruckus on video, man. He's like an innovator of such crazy shit, man. It's like he's just that dude is way ahead of his time. He definitely should have definitely been in WWE, NXT, any of them. That dude is he's out there, man. I just love the dude.
Now the progression of CCW,
Yeah.
it came a long way. You started it back in what year?
Actually, 2001. This year is going to be 20 years in November.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Boomar started it on my birthday. Actually, November 17th was their first show, 2001.
So you built yours. You built CCW when he started as a baby. You watched it grow and progress,
Yeah.
and you cradled that thing. You pampered it. And from what I've seen from past shows that I've been to, that I attended, you have a loyalty fan base that
Absolutely.
comes, who's really into. You got that streamer guy out there who brings the streamers and passes around.
Terry, he's actually, he goes to Ring of Honor too. He's on Ring of Honor's intro video and everything, man. So he's a good kid. He's a little bit annoying, but he's a good kid. He loves wrestling, and they're the type of fans we need, guys like that.
And the thing, what I like about your locker room is like a lot of them, they're cool, they're laid back, they're relaxed, they're not stuck up or anything. They don't think their shit's better than anyone. They're like, hey, we're the boys, and at the end of the day, the fans, yeah, they could be fans, but also they're our friends as well. I noticed that.
Yeah. No egos are allowed in my locker room. None at all. I don't do that shit. I can't stand people with egos. Like I just can't stand it. I hate when people think that they're better than everyone else, man. You can do all those flips you want, kid, but tell me a story. Yeah, that's the way. Keep your ego in check.
Okay.
I'll check it for you.
So you got back then when you start when you start taking over with CCW and stuff.
Uh-huh.
You had X amount of years in the business, still not over 20 yet because it took 20 years for it to build from then to now.
Right.
And then at this time, you're starting to get, or you've been getting headway where you're making the loop of working a lot of other companies. What's some of the territories that you've been in around that? People may not realize that how far you traveled.
I think the furthest I've ever went was like North Carolina. I wrestled down there a couple times. And I wrestled up in Connecticut, which I got some great stories about that too.
Feel free.
Yeah.
One pops up. Don't.
Yeah,
don't
man.
hesitate.
I got stories for days, man. Like, and we used to do shows up at Penn State on campus. So yeah, I've wrestled a few places, man. I wrestled in Jersey a few times, West Virginia, Virginia. I got banned from West Virginia for a little bit.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? You got to stop right there. Then you need to tell us your story about why you got banned.
No, so all right. So I was wrestling Christian York.
Okay.
And Christian he's amazing too. So Christian and I was working, and this dude kept telling me to suck it. Suck it. I didn't realize when I spit at him. I didn't spit on him. I spit between his legs and said, "No, you suck it." He was special. And I didn't realize he was, because to me, I was thinking, you can't be special needs if you're saying suck it, you know what I mean? But yeah, little did I know he was special needs, and they said that I was disrespectful, and
Now,
live and learn.
was that the owners of the company, or was there a commission down there that confronted you about this?
It was basically the owner, and then word of mouth. They didn't want to use me because I was too vulgar, and
And they probably
blah,
wanted
blah.
to try to. They wanted to keep a family friendly oriented
Yeah,
show, but the fans are there telling you to,
Oh man,
sucking and
one
whatever
one
else.
dude was hitting me with his cane. One dude was throwing his beer on me. This kid was saying "suck it," but they wanted family oriented. Like how much can you take if you're getting smacked with a damn cane? So I was like, nah.
I feel you.
How much
I
more?
was
Now,
Not a
that?
family oriented. It's not that. It's not really that family oriented.
Nah, not at all.
Not if you're getting beer thrown at you, especially.
Yeah, it's not family oriented if you're serving alcohol anyway. So
Or have a family member like come at you. Remember the show with Mark, and you had a fan and family member want to go into a vehicle to kill Mark.
yep, yeah,
oh damn.
Listen, I'll never forget that night, like ever.
yeah. So what we do is, I have this formula that I use, and it always works. I don't tell my wife anything. So if I fool my wife and she thinks shit's real, everyone else does.
Yep.
And you guys know who John Singleton is? He's from Boys in the Hood. He made Boys in the Hood.
Yep.
Well, if you saw Boys in the Hood, there's a scene where they're all out on the strip, and a gun goes pop 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 pop. John Singleton didn't tell any of the actors that he was going to do that, and they thought it was a real drive-by. So he got a real reaction by not telling everybody everything that he does to get the reaction. So that's what I do. I don't tell everybody everything we're going to do during a show, so we get real reactions out of them. So, and that's the story with Mark. We did this angle where me, Mark, and my son Petey were the only ones who knew what was going to happen. So Mark and Pete were always doing these hardcore matches, and they did a match where they pulled the canvas off and the padding, and they were bumping on the padding. And me and Mark, I came out, I was like, "Yo, Mark, that's enough." And he's like, "Well, you beat the shit out of your kid. You should be taken from you," and blah, blah, blah. And everyone thought me and Mark got into a big fight. They say not to work the boys, but sometimes you get the fans to believe, you got to make everyone else believe. And so me and Mark were like punching the shit out of each other for real. And, me and Mark knew we were, working each other, and so did Pete. And then my boy, Delicious, who is like one of my right-hand man when it comes to fighting. And he was like, I didn't know who to think, like between you or Mark, I couldn't pick. And so D's like stressing out, and his brother's like, fuck this, I'm just going to get my gun. And his brother went out to get his gun to shoot Mark. Like, yeah, and I had to go out there and be like, yo, put the gun away, dude, put the gun away. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I never had the opportunity to get that far of stuff to jump off that crazy. But I heard many stories from other people of where stuff went down. One guy was thinking, "Yo, I'm not gonna make it across the bridge to get back to Philly," and we were in Jersey. He's like, "Man, they're gonna get me in the parking lot." It's just like, and like, yeah, it's so many different stories we heard throughout the time where guys get stabbed by fans and stuff like that. Fortunately enough, I never had that opportunity to make it that far, so I wised up pretty quick.
See, I like making the fans angry.
Dude, I love making the fans angry. That's my job.
I like them I like getting them angry.
I say, yeah, if you're a heel,
I don't
you
like
should.
when they're trying to stab me. No.
I've already had this guy. This guy would at every show in Lebanon before I took over. It was called the LWF, and
Larry Brown.
Yeah, Larry Brown, exactly. And this dude would wait in line during intermission the whole time, and every time he would come up to get an autograph from me, just to tell me that at the end of the night he was going to be waiting in the parking lot with a gun to shoot me. Every time we was there, man, it's like
every time he bought a picture, right?
Every time. One time, when Earnhardt crashed and died, we were doing a show for Larry, and I told him if he kept running his mouth, he was going to be shaking hands with Earnhardt. Man, this dude,
Oh,
he went ape shit, man. They had to turn the lights out, make it seem like they were closing because this dude, he was crazy, man. He still comes to the shows. Were you there when Bliss almost beat up a fan, Chio, in Lebanon? Because the guy used the N word.
Was it one of the recent ones?
Yeah, the guy used the N word on a Black Friday.
I'm trying. Was it the Black Friday? Because I did 2 Black Fridays for you, where I came out and did your sound for you.
Yeah,
If it was, if not last year, because
it was like
it was
4
probably
years
maybe,
ago.
No, if it was like 4 years ago, then no, because I'm looking at probably maybe 2 to 3 years, probably.
Yeah,
And that's not
it
counting
was.
last year.
Yeah. So, but yeah, this guy, he still comes to the shows. That's the best part.
Hey, it's
But
loyalty.
hey, he believes wrestling's real, man. Like he saw me and Jay Money, like me and Jay Money were supposed to work each other in Lebanon for Larry, and he saw us at the Kmart getting stuff, and he's like, "Please, Money, don't tell me you're turning bad. Don't side with this guy." And he's like, it was the greatest, man. Like, and I'm just looking at this dude, like, yeah, he's gonna be bad. He's gonna be bad.
Yo,
that's
it's great. It's great when you go out in public to restaurants or stores or wherever, and people run into you. Hey, you're so. Hey, can I get a picture? Oh my god, yo, dude, that's it. And they're like marking out so bad, it's ridiculous.
Look, I love it. I love when fans are marking out for you in public. Like, Rob, you met Kenny Meering, right? The referee from Mark School.
Yeah.
So a couple weeks ago, he calls me up and he's like, "Dude, I gotta tell you something." I'm like, "All right, what's up?" He goes, "I went out to eat or something, and he saw it was at the diner in Boyertown, and one of the kids that were watching a match on his phone of me, and all he kept on hearing this kid say is Reaper sucks." Screw you, Reaper. I'm like, I want to know who this kid is. Apparently, this kid's mom worked there, and she's like, "Oh yeah, he hates that guy." And Kenny's like, "Oh, I'm friends with him. He should just show up here now." And I'm like, I love that. I love when fans hate me. Like, I've learned from some of the best heels in the business in the East Coast, period. Like, I'm just going to say it that way. I learned how to be an asshole and do it the right way without getting,
right.
I'll push the boundaries because I've learned what the boundaries are to an extent. But
well, you have to.
I love when I get the fans that hate me. When I get Philly hate, when I worked O-Dog show, and I told a kid your mom should have swallowed instead of saying your mom. When they said I sucked, I said your mom did. I usually say that. But I went and decided to say no, your mom should have swallowed, and it turned out that it was freaking Ron Starr's kids. As I'm working Ron Starr,
that's great.
Don't know this. Keener's my ref, and Keener walks up and goes, "By the way, those are Ron Starr's kids." I'm like, "Oh shit," And then I tell Ron Starr in the back I did that, and he's like, "Oh no." I'm like, "Yeah, you're gonna have to tell your wife I'm sorry in advance, man. I love her. Like, sorry." But I didn't know it was. I don't know whose kids are whose. Like, unless I'm around you all the time, that's the only way I know who your kids are.
Doesn't Ron look amazing?
Dude, Ron has been killing him and Charles Gemini.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I haven't seen Gemini in forever.
Dude, he is transformed from where he was when I first worked 13
really?
years ago. He is Ron Starr 2.0.
Wow.
I'll get a photo. I'll go on Facebook and get you a picture of him.
It's funny, like when we look back in history of how many friends, brothers we made throughout this business. And I'm gonna go and say, a lot of us, during our time was not the healthiest type of guys. A lot of us were fat slobs or whatever. But as age goes on, if you notice something with everybody, the older we get, we all actually start trimming down.
Well,
okay,
I'm
hold
hoping,
up. We are
I'm hoping that starts soon.
Yeah, it's like we are on our way out the door almost. Like me, I'm practically done wrestling. I know, because I haven't had a match in, I don't know, like what, about 2-3 years.
The exception.
Yeah.
Me too. Me too.
I went from the stud to a. You got arroz con gandules.
I agree. I'm the same way.
So, Rob, now, how long have you and Dennis known each other?
Since Dennis started?
13 years.
Do you remember how you guys met?
Yeah.
Okay,
At the
Dennis
dungeon?
might does.
Was it at the dungeon? Or was it? Did Mark bring you to a show?
Mark brought me to a show.
Okay.
It was the very first time I met you was when Captain Rick ran shows in Reading.
Ah!
Cutting Edge Wrestling.
CWF.
Yeah, Cutting Edge Wrestling.
That's when I met Rob Noxious.
I
And
remember
I
that.
remember it was Rob. It was everybody. Rebel was on it, and all I remember is you guys all looking across at me because I was in. It was my very first show to work for Cap's show. I was in the Battle Royal, and the only words I heard out of Rob's mouth and Rebel's mouth is, "If someone doesn't chop this little piss ant, we're gonna do it for you." And I got lit the hell up by Debbie Sue. All I remember is getting told I'm gonna get it because I was in the main event that night too, because I was Cap student,
Right.
Mark and them, and that was what they had. That was the angle they had. And all I remember is I come back to the locker room, I'm busted open chest wide by Debbie Sue, and Rob looks over and goes, "All right, cool," and just goes back to nonchalant. But that was the first time I met Rob, and then I kept going. I was at a lot of the shows. I was at ACW as well for Tate.
Yep.
And then we were doing, so it was ACW, was Cap shows, and then it was Roy show up in Harrisburg, or not Harrisburg, Scranton. So like,
and did you do any of Todd Amos's show?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I heard the name, but I don't think I met the guy before.
He was like, it was UWWA or something.
No, I never worked UWA at all.
No, there's two W's.
Yeah, no, never worked for them.
It's kind of funny that Dennis brought up a name that I was tempted to ask you, but I wasn't sure if we were going to touch on the subject of Rockin' Rebel. Like, we all knew him, we've been around him. It's everybody knows the situation of what happened, what went down at the end.
Yeah.
But prior to that incident,
I was actually supposed to the morning everyone found out, we were actually supposed to be going to Pittsburgh to wrestle that day. It was me, Brian Horan, Rebel, and Mr. Ping. And I got a phone call from Tate saying, you're never going to believe what just happened. And I'm like, what? And he was like, Chuck killed Steph. And I was just like, fuck. Like, still, man, it's still hard to believe that even happened. A lot of people say that Chuck, abused Steph, or Steph abused Chuck. It was, I don't know. I never ever saw Chuck put his hands on Steph, but that don't mean it didn't happen. You know what I mean? And every time I saw Steph, she was ready to fight. She was a tough ass bitch. And but I don't know. Chuck seemed like he was scared of her just as much. But it was a toxic relationship apparently that we didn't know of, and
we heard some stories along the way, but we didn't know what was fact or fiction.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. Like, everyone else says that they saw it. But I don't know about you, but I came from an abusive fucking household. And if I ever seen a man doing like some of the shit that they claim Rebel did in front of them, who they are, they know who they are, who all talk that shit. They were the same people.
I would have dropped Rebel if I saw it.
You're damn straight. But they were the same people that was kissing Rebel's ass and helping spend Rebel's money. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And then as soon as Rebel does this heinous act, they all talk shit, So, it's like, it was so messed up. It will always be messed up. Like
Say
a lot of us, a lot of us knew Rebel. A lot of us didn't know Chuck Williams. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he, they could say he was the same person or what, but apparently he was really mentally ill that he took her life, and while the babies were there, and that alone is so fucked up. And like let's talk about the babies, not just that he took Steph's life, but he also took the mom and he took the dad away from these beautiful kids, man.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those shocking moments. We don't know. Like I said, was it just something that was built up out of time between the two of them? Was it what's that for the head CTE or what's that
Yeah.
called again? Is it CTE?
Yeah, CTE. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We don't know if it was that or anything. The only thing I tried, like, okay, yes, it's a very shitty situation.
Absolutely.
People are like, they had one view of him at one point, and then like it said, as soon as this happens, goes down, everyone always wants to talk shit. Then
I'm not saying Chuck was an angel.
No.
Chuck,
I was gonna
Chuck
say that
was a damn asshole.
Yes, we all know he was a dick. In the back, you know what he people always call it, rebels are racist, this and that. He made those jokes, but at the same time, he's like, brother, this, that, and he's doing business with you. But then again, it's business. It's always business. Right. So,
right.
And the one thing, as much as people would say negative stuff about Chuck, watch out for him, and this and that, he's shady, is that whatever work I did with him, he always came through with what he was gonna say.
Absolutely.
Always.
Yes.
Absolutely. Like,
and then even when he didn't have to, and I just show up somewhere, yo, bro, you got your gear, this, that, whatever, and he'll hook me up right there and then.
Always. Like he was a complete asshole. He did a lot of shady shit that it don't even need to be mentioned anymore. But we
gotta know.
We all learned
now.
Everybody who's ever came across Rebel has learned from Rebel. You know what I mean? Like yeah, that whole thing is shitty, but in the end, we all learn from everything that he's done in wrestling, from the things that not to do, to like, stay away from people who act like that, and like, don't let him in your locker room if people act like that. You know what I'm saying? But to think Rebel was a racist, I don't know. There's a lot of people who think he was a racist because he said a lot of racist shit. But Chuck came from a time when
the thing is, I'm used to that kind of talk because I grew up around it.
So, that's the way we grew up. It was us just cutting up with each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like my best friend is Jamal, and my other best friend is Bliss, and they're both black. But we stay cutting up on each other, and the fact that I'm Mexican and they're black, you know what I mean? And that shit don't mean nothing. We're still boys to the end. But if somebody else says some shit like that, we'd want to punch them in the face.
Look, all I know is I loved Rebel in the locker room. That man always had everybody's back, no matter what it was. He called me up the one day and had me drive to East Stroudsburg to work a tag team match with one of Saturday Night students against them, and the show wasn't paying anything, and I was like, I'll still come no matter what. I don't care. Rob literally took his payday and hands me his envelope and says, "This is for you coming out out of nowhere." I'm like, "But that's yours, man." He's like, "No, but you did us a solid." Look,
fucking Shane.
Damn, I thought I was your best friend. Nah, Shane, you weren't his best friend, right? But then you got
Shane was my best friend until he made me his best man, and I got to pay $230 for a tuxedo.
He did you dirty.
$230 to rent a tux. Good Lord.
We can all say, though, is anytime, like I like you said, Gio, we've all heard the rumors like a Rebel being racist, but let's be real. we all knew when he got that microphone, you knew the stuff that was coming out of his mouth.
Absolutely.
Okay? I loved when shows were like, okay, guys, listen, don't
believe
curse.
me.
And we'd all like look around, Rebel, no cursing. You know.
Listen.
Every show.
Every other
Do
word
you
was the
guys
F-bomb.
do you guys remember Crash Crew?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, listen. One time, Charles was going to kill Rebel.
No, for real.
And when I tell you Charles was going to kill Rebel, Charles was in the back. You know where in Lebanon where the sinks are in the very back? Rebel said the N-word to some kid, and Charles wasn't having it, and he pulled out one of his friends and pointed it at Rebel and was like, say that word one more time, Rebel. Say it right now. And I'm like in between these guys thinking, oh shit, Charles getting ready to kill this motherfucker. and I really think Charles was going to kill Rebel that day. I was like, oh God, he's gonna kill him. He's gonna kill him. Yeah.
You know, it's kind of funny because we're trying to talk to you about your career, but then but we always get off track and we talk about everything else.
There's so many stories,
and
man.
it seems
really is.
It seems like we're building up to the nitty gritty stuff. But before we get to the nitty gritty stuff, now you had CCW,
yes,
and then you introduced to the world for Noxious.
Yes.
Now, what was your plans on? Did you have a key plan on how you want to run for it, not Noxious, or was it, hey, I got a ring, I'm going to open up a school, and that's it?
No, I always promised myself, because I was on a lot of shows, like, you know, there was a lot of fucking shitty ass people on these shows that would get their spots for kissing ass and telling each other, you know, all but basically sucking each other's dick, saying how great their matches were and they were garbage. You know what I mean? And I promised myself if I ever got the chance to help anybody out, I would never lie to them about their matches. I would never lie to anybody that I trained. I would always tell them when they did good. I would, you know, tell them all the time when they're doing bad. Like, I can't even have my wife at my place because once I start yelling, she gets all mad, and I'm like, just leave, get. You know, like, it's not for, you know, I wanted the guys to grow differently than the guys that were coming up, you know, when I was coming up, you know, I never wanted any of my guys to kiss nobody's ass to get a booking. I never wanted any of my guys to kiss anybody's ass for anything, man, you know. And it's like, I can't stand when people try to kiss my ass, you know. It's like, talk to me regular. But yeah,
man, I'm just straight tired of trying to come up there and kiss your ass. I do it a lot.
Nah, not at all.
It got so bad I sent my daughter.
Yeah. that's my daughter. That's my daughter now.
She just came home, Dennis. She literally just came home from a week at Rob's house, and it's not the first time.
She just got home, but
yeah.
Look, that's one thing. You know, I know
me.
if anybody watches this, they might think I'm kissing ass. That's one thing, Rob. I always had respect for you about is when I've had shitty matches, you've come up and looked at me going, "That was complete shit. What in the were you thinking?" and that's the thing that I love the most is you were honest with me. You know, You didn't sugarcoat. You were like, "Hey, that was a great match," and then I go back and watch it and go, "That was shit. What the hell was he talking about?" And me be mad. You'd be like, I remember when I worked Louis Rich at your show.
Absolutely,
and,
I remember in Lebanon.
We had the two mess ups. One was I was supposed to do a crossbody, and he decided to freaking like shoulder blast me where I went twisting midair. And you were like, I didn't know what that was about. There was a mistake there. And then when I did the light drop.
Yep.
And you
remember
were like,
that.
Why'd you do that again? Or whatever it was. And I'm like, I didn't have an answer. You're like, look, those looked horrible. Other than that, the match looked good. But those two mistakes cost you guys having a great match.
Yeah. Yep. I remember that.
Now,
you know, and that's what I love about I love the old school mentality of telling guys how it is instead of the new stuff is you had a great match, go have a good show.
Attaboy. At a boy, so I don't
just
hurt
told him
your
I didn't
feelings.
watch it. I didn't watch it.
At a boy, I don't want to hurt your feelings. Nah.
Dude,
fuck
you're gonna
that.
get
That's-
signed. I'm sure of it.
That's what's wrong with this. That's what's wrong with this world. Everyone's entitled to everything. They're entitled to have a good match, but having the match, that entails training. And if you're not going to train, then you're not going to get better. And if you're going to train, and there's going to be alcohol at your training facility, then you're just a fucking asshole.
I know a training facility like that.
Yeah, so do I.
I ain't even gonna say where that is.
I will in Maryland.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. We're talking about the same training facility there.
We're talking about the same one. Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
All right, so Rob, now with Fort Noxious, you had a whole lot of guest trainers come in for seminars. What's some of the guys you had in?
We had Kevin Kelly. We had Brutal Bob Evans. We had D'Lo Brown. We actually one of my original trainers, Johnny Rebel, came and was training with my guys one day. That was really cool. That it all came back around. That one of my original teachers came back to my school to train my guys. That was probably one of the greatest moments. If I could get Johnny Graham there, and that would be.
I'm waiting for one name you didn't mention. I just want to reach through the screen and choke you right now. You didn't mention a certain name.
Which one?
Ragin.
Oh my God! Yes, of course. The Raging Bull, Manny Fernandez.
Yes,
he had Thanksgiving at my house, man. He spent the night at my house.
See, I'm sitting here like, come on, say it. Say it. And you're like, damn. Well,
and you know what? And I was a complete mark. I'm not gonna lie to you. I
would have been a mark
every second of it.
Like
all the stories. Listen, we went down to South Carolina to wrestle for Manny, and oh my God, you talk about a story. That man is crazy. So we went down there. We went down to South Carolina. My wife's got her phone on really loud. I don't know if you guys can hear that. But
a little bit. We're good though. We can hear you.
All right. So we get down there and he's like, come on, let's go out to the bar. So we go to this bar, right? And Manny's already fired up. And I don't drink. So I'm at the bar with everyone else who's drinking, except me and my son Shane. And I think Stefan was drinking. But we were the only two that probably weren't drinking. And the band was playing, man, man, man. And then the band stops and gets all quiet. And they go, how do you like us so far tonight? And Manny goes, I'd like you a lot better if you shut the fuck up. And I'm like, oh shit. We're going to jail. Yeah. Yeah, Manny Fernandez. And then of course, he came to my house and had Thanksgiving dinner. And then we went training.
You know what? We usually last an hour with our guests, and then we go into other subjects. But you know what? We're not done with you. We might have to just say the hell with our other topics. But before we come back to you, don't go nowhere. We're definitely going to come back because we still got to get into the nitty gritty. As we talked about over the phone. So anyone out there, if you're looking to becoming a professional wrestler or sports entertainment, however you like to describe it,
I like to say professional wrestler.
Okay,
professional wrestler all day long.
You could be at a stunt studio, whichever.
Yeah.
Check out Fort Noxious Training Center, and why take my word on it? Check these guys out. We'll be right back.
Always wanted to be a pro wrestler? Or are you already a wrestler and looking to improve? Don't know where to start? Or just want to refine your skills? Well, don't wait. Only you keep you from being better. Want to be the best? Then learn from the best. Fort Noxious Training School will help you develop the skills needed to not only become better, but become a legit contender anywhere you go. So don't delay. Find us on Facebook or call 717-379-4599 to schedule a tryout now. That's 717-379-4599.
Yeah, there you have it, Fort Noxious Training Center, folks. That's pretty cool commercial.
You know, Mel Havoc did that commercial in one night. He was at the school, did videos of the guys, went home and sent me that video the next day, that commercial. And Mel Havoc just makes you want to take your clothes off because he's got that stripper DJ voice.
And, like,
4599.
I was gonna say, and those guys in the video, they are not stunt doubles. Actually, you get to see these guys live and in person, and I get to see them run and get yelled at because
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
they're there to be trained.
Absolutely. And I do have a rule that don't embarrass me when we got guests. You know, you're gonna pay.
There you go,
you're
Rob. You got someone special hitting you up.
Well, no, I think Haley was saying hi to Amy because Amy said hi, Haley. She said hi, love back. I'm just saying you meant
yeah. I agree. I agree.
Because I'm pretty sure she says hi, dad, or like she says something else that's a little bit more like daughter father talk. So
yeah, she calls me Papa.
So
all right, well, like I said, we're actually past the hour mark for our normal guests. That I said normal guests. You ain't normal. So
I like to think I'm normal.
Like I said, we talked on the phone. You have a lot more to get off your chest.
Yeah.
Mr. Noxious, the floor is yours.
Okay.
Take it away.
All right. So like I said, I don't really want to talk shit on the guys. I really want to talk shit on these guys because I want to expose them, but I want them to be around. You know, what I'd like to do is have like, you know how you have us all, we're all separate, like Dennis is there.
Yes.
And, you're there. I want these guys to be able to come and tell me in their own words why they're such pieces of shit that they are. You know what I mean? Like, like two of the guys are well, no, three of them actually, they one, I don't want to say his name because, like I said, he unfriended me on Facebook, but he was trying to have sex with his stepdaughter. The other two guys decided they wanted to get some girl drunk and have their way with her. To me, they're all sexual predators, and people want to talk shit about people like
and these
my
are guys
son.
in the business.
Yeah, these are guys that are still in the business now that talk shit on other people who've been in trouble for situations when they were younger, like when my son got in trouble when he was younger, or like JT Funk got in trouble when he was a young kid. You know what I mean? Like, these are the same guys who want to talk shit on these two young guys, but they're out there doing the same shit. You know what does that make them? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't talk shit on people when you're doing worse shit than they got in trouble for. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
I really want to expose the fuck out of them. I want to expose them. But one, they're not here to defend themselves, and
that's on period.
And they're not here to defend themselves, which they could all they want. They could try to defend about being right, but once you get a woman drunk and you take advantage of her, to me that's still fucking rape.
Yeah, because she don't know what she's doing.
Yeah, and They're going to pay one day. Because I told him, I said, next time you see me at a show, motherfucker, duck. Because I don't give a fuck how old I get. I'm knocking him the fuck out when I see him. He knows who he is. I gave him a chance to come correct, and he just don't come correct. So when he sees me, him and his boy, you know, it's going to be the worst holiday of their life.
Yeah, it's sad that that within the last, I'm gonna say, 2 years, it's been coming out the woodwork like crazy of different guys being exposed doing creepy ass shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially to people that to young ladies that are underage.
Yep, and I know exactly what you're talking about. And if I ever find him, I'm gonna fuck him up too.
There's we heard stories about certain individual driving cross state lines to bring back
who was just found guilty of all charges.
Yeah. I kind of figured that was coming.
Yeah. And you know what though? Listen, we could talk about that, and this is another thing that's what's fucked up about this wrestling business that we call our brotherhood, and we're supposed to be a family. We are supposed to be a family, but we aren't supposed to do the dumb shit to our family that these motherfuckers are doing. Like when Andrew got in trouble, nobody listed that Andrew had anything to do with wrestling. None of the news, nothing. But all these other fucking jackasses in wrestling wanted to be the first to have the news scoop. Hey, look, I exposed Andrew first. You're just making our business look worse than what the fuck it is by bringing him into it when nobody, none of the fans, they may have saw his picture and put it together, but nobody was coming on here saying, hey, look at what wrestling does. Our own fucking brothers and sisters are the ones who put it on Facebook and exposed Andrew as being a wrestler. The news, none of social media put him on there as being a wrestler. But our brothers and sisters keep on bringing the dirt to us. You know what I mean? Like, stop doing that shit. We already got enough black eyes from fucking what Chuck did, what other people do, what fucking, it's just, there's enough black eyes.
Because right now is like more important than anything. This should be, especially with COVID going on, this should be our time to try to heal at least.
Absolutely.
Try to make it better. And for them to continue situations like this, even when we're already struggling now, just trying to get by in society, just trying to go places either with or without masks, with the vaccination, or trying to travel because you got to have some kind of proof that you're vaccinated. If you are they really letting anybody travel out the states? Really, honestly,
right? Yeah.
So it's like if you want to further yourself in your career and this and that, don't do something stupid like this, or you ain't going nowhere, because there's already been guys who've been blackballed.
Yeah, and it's totally fucked up, But we can't. We as wrestling companies, we could do background checks and we could do this and we can make our own judgments of who we use, and people may not like that I use certain people, but like a lot of people, and I'm gonna say it, and I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks of me. I'm gonna say it, like JT Funk, like that kid is a fucking superstar, man. And all these people calling him a sexual predator. He shouldn't be around kids. He shouldn't be this. He shouldn't be that. Read his rap sheet, man. If anybody takes the time to read JT's rap sheet, I'm not saying he's innocent of anything, but if you read his rap sheet, it fucking clearly states that him and her had consensual sex. So he's not really a fucking pedophile. The girl was overage and all these people talking shit on the kid. Like, everyone can judge, but fucking judge for the right reasons, man.
I think what everyone from my understanding was that everyone was judging on the point where the other guy, I don't know who the other guy was.
Yeah, absolutely. The other guy. But to be honest, dude, and I don't know anything about anything, but I do know that in PA, what JT was charged with, there is no such law in Pennsylvania for what JT was charged with. So, and it's like, I don't know, he was young, and so was my son, he was young as well. These boys were like 20 years old looking at 40 years in fucking prison, and both of them didn't have good lawyers. I mean, my son's lawyer, we paid a lot of money for that motherfucker, and after my son's case, he gets caught all coked up in his car one night. So, it's just, you know, I mean, think about it. We were all 20 years old. Would we really take a deal if they were saying you're looking at 40 years in prison? And I can't say one way or another. I know for a fact the situation with my kid is fucked up. And just read the stories, man. Like you don't know somebody's story. You only know one part of somebody's story. And that's the problem with this whole fucking business, man. We're in too many people's fucking business and not our own business. And that's what we should be. If we're brothers and we're sisters, let's take the time and build each other up, not constantly bringing us down, because they're jealous because, hey, JT got a beautiful drop kick. Oh shit, that JT's a good looking boy. He's going to take my spot. You know what I mean? Why bring these guys down? If they fucked up when they were younger and they paid their debt to society, let them the fuck alone. It's not our business. It's our business to keep predators away from children at our shows. Of course, that's our business. But they talk about all our wrestlers being shady and all this, but how many of these same people have taken the money from people, from fans who the fuck knows if they're not on the list? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's like, how can we check everybody? We can't check everyone, but we can keep our kids safe at our shows, and that's the important part.
I know the one thing I've been doing ever since the whole Me Too and the whole exposure stuff and everyone,
absolutely,
and then everyone was talking about, oh man, we need to do back. You know how much money that would cost for everybody to keep doing background checks on people and this and that for shows. So
yeah.
So I took it upon myself is whenever my job, I do it yearly. We get background checks done at the job. We get fingerprinted, FBI, and all that stuff.
Yep.
So once that comes in, what I've been doing the last 2 years or so is I get the digital copy when it's sent to me online. I get that one, and I'll blacken out, my address and stuff.
Right.
But I'll take it, and I post it. I post it online and said, look, here's my updated one, so everyone out there knows already ahead of time. So, and that's me personally. That's what I do to keep myself safe in this business, so people can't just, because there's people who's out there who likes to make shit up though.
God, yeah.
And that's some of the bad ones out there where people may not have do nothing at all, and just someone comes out with some accusations.
Absolutely. And believe me,
that's why I do to cover my own ass.
And once those accusations are out there, they're out there for good, man. And then you're screwed either way. No pun intended. You're fucked. And it's sad. Like it's a hard that whole thing. Like it's a serious subject, man. Like and like I got 2 girls that are training with us now, and I don't let. Like anytime we have females in our shows, they get dressed in separate locker rooms. We don't play that. The girls getting dressed in the same locker room. We don't do that shit, man, because anything could be said, and then everything's screwed up. So why put anybody in that situation?
Well, definitely, yeah. We right there. We just touched on a lot of sexual predator type issues in the business, and I'm sure there's probably a bunch of other issues you have with the business or certain individuals.
Absolutely,
that you probably want to get off your chest as well.
My biggest did I say biggest pet peeve is alcohol at wrestling shows in the locker room Period. There should be no fucking alcohol when you are wrestling. You know, and the older guys that have alcohol that bring the alcohol to the shows should be banned from fucking either if they're running shows and they bring alcohol, they should be banned from running fucking shows. If they're fucking wrestling on the show and they're drinking, they should be told they're not allowed to wrestle on shows. You know, my boy Jay Money was was in the best shape of his life, and two guys were wrestling. One of them were Rock and Rebel, and they were drinking, and they dropped Jay Money on his neck, and Money ended up having to have surgery like a couple years ago because of his neck. And you know, Money could have went somewhere, but he had so many neck troubles from being fucked up from two guys being drunk. You know,
I know exactly what you're saying because I was out at a show in Jersey and we were doing a 6-man tag, and on the one team, one of the guys was really shit faced, and we told his partners like, dude, what the hell? Why is he and he fucking up spots after spot after spot. And like finally, you know, someone had to just peer off with him, take him to the outside, and let the rest of us do the match as is, and you know, just go out there and brawl with him. You know, keep it simple. That way, he's not really doing anything, you know, too much. Just you know, and then we just took it home early, you know, just to get out of there because we didn't want to deal with it because otherwise, we kind of see he'll get over aggressive and want to get a little bit more rambunctious and try to jump in the ring even more than you know when he's not even supposed to be in there, and just screw it up even more. So we took it upon ourselves to at least save the match for what the best we could, you know, and to get out of there safely for all of us.
If you can't drive a car, if it says you're impaired with the first drink, if you can't operate a vehicle drinking or smoking or doing any kind of drugs, what makes you think that you could take somebody's life into your hands after you've been drinking in a professional wrestling ring? Like it's stupid. It's ignorant. It's disrespectful to this business. And I don't care who you are. You know, if any of these guys that I'm talking about, you know, my address is 611 Monroe Street, Wrestler, Pennsylvania 17113. You know, come look me up. Y'all got something to say? I'm right here. You know, I don't give a fuck. You know, and I'll tell that to their face. I don't give a fuck. You're disrespecting our business by fucking drinking at a show, teaching these young kids that it's okay to drink. It's not fucking okay to drink at shows. You're taking people's lives into your hands.
Amen. Amen.
Look, it's definitely not okay.
I've seen that far too much with select names that you named, you know, far few in between, the whole locker room getting lit for no reason. You know, and I was a youngin'. I'm like, this is me, like fresh screen and stuff, and people getting hammered. I'm like, bro, I'm supposed to take fucking suplexes and things of this nature and trust you when you can't even fucking walk and breathe straight.
Yo, and it's like this. If you can't do that if you can't do crazy flips and shit without drinking, then because you're fucking scared and you only get balls when you're drinking.
You don't believe it? You don't believe it?
Yeah, stay the fuck out of the business, man. You know, it's like, I mean, all these guys, everyone's long-term goal is to go to AEW or New Japan or WWE. You think they let them drink before shows? You know, ain't like before, man.
No.
Like I stated last week, like I got indulged in the Mary Jane because I found out I was going to do some things, you know, on behalf of the United States. And I was scared, and you know, I was not in my right frame of mind, so I did what I did and failed my actual test to get to the next level and failed it, and was outside crying to myself and this and that. But I knew that I fucked up,
right?
You know, but that was my own doing. That I knew that I was not in the right frame of mind. And I always told myself after that, if I can't concentrate on this purely, then I do not belong here. Period. You
don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm a saint, But
No.
I don't give a fuck what anybody does outside of wrestling. You drink, you do drugs, you want to smoke, you smoke. Yeah, I don't care. You do what you want to do. That's on you.
Yep.
Just don't.
Just don't bring it to the show. Yeah.
Yeah, don't bring it to the show. I could care less what anybody does. And that's the thing. If more people didn't give a shit about everyone else's business, we'd be in such a better place in this world, man.
And it's funny though, you brought this up about drinking and drugs, because there's plenty of times, like in the most recent past couple years, that I noticed some of the younger guys they'll be stoned off their ass or whatever, and like and certain ones I take a really good. I'm like I like them all, but there's ones that you get a bond with, where you start talking to, you start understanding them, how their life is, and there's some like I'll pull them to the side, like, dude, I'm really worried about you. I worry about you all the time because I see your videos you put online. I see your pictures, what else you're doing besides at shows.
Right.
Dude, you need help and this and that. Like, oh, I'm cool, man. I'm cool. I'm all right. I like, and some, and a lot of them, like, my heart literally breaks when I'm trying to talk to them and they're telling me that they're all right, and you can blatantly see they're not all right.
Yeah.
So it's like, look, I got called out. I want to say 6-7 years ago, give or take, at Mark School. This is longer than that, because I've been clean for almost over 10 years, almost. I came to Mark's Wrestling School on a weekday, and I was high as shit, and because I was messing around with stuff you put in your nose. And I couldn't train properly. I wasn't all there, and Tate was there, and Mark was there. Tate pulls me outside. He's like, "Yeah," I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm just tired. I didn't sleep last night. I was high as shit." Yeah. And I got called out. I've never been called out in my entire life that I was high. Like, I thought I was good. I went home, and then Mark called me up. Was like, "Listen, if you're gonna do that shit, you're not allowed in the school."
Yeah, and it's true, man, because even when you're, no matter what you're on, you're still not in the right frame of mind to be in a wrestling ring. Like, you should always be at least sober when you're in a ring, and it's like you can't stress it enough.
Yeah, like, I try to deny it, like, for the fullest. Like, I told Tate I was fine. There was nothing in my system, and I told Mark to his face that day. But they knew I was full of shit.
Right.
Like, I have a good poker face, but I don't have a good poker face when it comes to that. Like, I was my cards were shown. I couldn't bluff out of that. So, luckily, after that happened, I found out I was going to be a dad again. And I got clean. Like, I haven't touched that shit in, my dog, Braylon's almost 9. So, it's been a while since I touched it, and I'm glad I got out of it, because if I didn't, I'd be dead. I'll say it right now. I would be dead. I'd be 6 feet in the ground.
And it's true. Like, listen, we all have our demons, man. Like, and I'm not gonna lie to you. Before my daughter was born, I loved cocaine. I'm not gonna lie to you. I loved it. I loved to drink. I loved to do cocaine. And then my baby she was crying one night. My wife was at work. Haley was crying. It was, and I was fucking hungover. And I'm like, Jesus, would you just shut the fuck up? And then it hit me. I was like, man, you're a dick. She didn't ask to be here. You're the one who brought her here. And that was it. Just like that.
My wake up call. No, go ahead.
You'll see every year on her birthday, I call her my hero, because in my eyes, if it wasn't for her being born, I don't know where my life would be. I have, of course, I have my oldest kid, and I have, all our other kids that we have, but it was the fact that she was the baby. She was the smallest of them all, who needed more nurturing. And I was the one who was like, shut the fuck up, because I was hungover. And then I made that choice to make the right decision, and been clean ever since, so
I literally have it on my phone. It's 10 years, 7 months, 8 days, 5 hours, 31 minutes. I haven't touched it. Like, and this is my reminder. Like, yes, I have my little girls. That's my main reminder, is like, hey, I got clean. But finding out I was going to be a dad was a rude awakening. But the rude awakening before then was like I woke up, like I did coke all night. I was high as hell, but my heart was racing, and I've never had that reaction in my entire life of ever doing shit. So I'm thinking in my mind, I'm ODing.
Right.
Like, what did I do? Like, I didn't do that much. I did a little bit, but did this person put something in this?
Right.
Out of my mind. And then I was like, I'm sitting there, and then it's like, all right, I gotta get out of this. I gotta stop, you know? And then, you know, hey, I'm going to be a dad. Like 2 months later. So I was like, all right, well, I'm done. Cold turkey, you know?
Yep.
And when I say wrestle, you know, and I say this, wrestling saved my life. My daughter saved my life.
Absolutely.
Because
I feel you on that.
Without Mark and Tate calling me out on my bluff, and without being a dad, I'd be dead. Like 100% wrestling saved my life. This is my go-to whenever I need, and I'm in a bad spot, you know. And then I look at my daughter. So for those, this is like wrestling. People can say wrestling, you know, causes people to do drugs. Like to an extent, it has caused people to do drugs. You're right. But it's also saved a lot of lives from people doing drugs and doing stupid shit and getting killed. You know,
absolutely.
So
go ahead.
No, I'll let you finish up. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that, you know, I thought, you know, you asked me about why I made Fort Noxious, you know, why I started it, and in the beginning it really was, you know, just to train people, but you know, in meeting these young guys and young girls, you know, I have helped a lot of people in different ways, and I really never thought about it until Jamal opened my eyes to this, and he was like, you know, you've helped so many people get out of certain situations, and you don't even realize it, you know. And it's like, I don't like to think of it that way, but I guess in the end, you know, I guess I do help people, and I'm okay with that, you know.
I remember when I was over there, you were telling me a story about getting a phone call in the middle of the night. Do you remember that? Yeah, you were telling me about one of the trainees called. I don't know who. I'm not. You know, I was just saying. And then how, you know, you said you're there. Call me, talk to me. I'm always there. You know, and you know, and you didn't. You said you didn't hesitate. You pretty much, like, you know, you talked a person off the ledge from doing something from doing something drastic. And that's a good thing. When you look back, you're not just being a friend, you're being a father figure, you're being an uncle, you're being someone that they can trust, that they can share whatever they can't share with anyone else. You're at least that one person people can come out to and speak to true heartedly, and just be themselves.
Yeah, and you know, that I take that thing that, you know, when I was coming up, everyone always says wrestling business is a family, is a family, is a family. And to be honest with you, my family mainly is wrestling, is wrestlers. You know, like I've spent more time at wrestling shows and with wrestlers than I have family reunions, anything, you know, because the wrestling community is my family, and I take it as, you know, I take that as a legit comment, you know, like I take these guys in and I treat them like they are my kids, you know. And you know, if somebody is you know, mentally ill, I try to help them in the right direction, you know. And it's like, you have to, if you wouldn't let your brother kill himself or your sister kill herself, you know.
Right.
So why would you let someone who's supposed to be your brother or sister, you know, in the wrestling business do the same? You know?
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Like, look, we all know my darkest day was September 1st when my daughter passed away. The wrestling community was there. Like, Mark, Troy, you guys, Tate, every one of y'all were there. I came to the shows, and instead of saying hi or handshake, you guys grabbed me and gave me a hug. Like when we talk brotherhood and family and the fans and the community, like it's legit a community, that is one that you'll never be able to get in, miss or get out of. Like no matter what falling outs people have and disagreements and things like that, it's still a community, still love. Like that's my dark day. You guys were like the community was there for me. Like I've never had my phone blow up so much that day and that week for the first 6 months. Like, hey, how you doing today, Dennis? Like the Rebel and Steph. Like Steph would see me at shows and she'd be like, hey, how you handling today? Rebel would ask me the same question. Like the community it's this. Again, it doesn't matter what people's falling outs or differences and things like that are. Like we're all still there. We're all there for each other. We can put our stuff aside and make sure someone's okay if we have to. And it's not that we have to, it's we want to.
Yeah. I've gotten to like. Thank God I don't gotta buy everyone a Christmas present who are like my brother and sister in wrestling. But
I already got my Shiki baby. Thank you, Rob. I got my Shiki baby.
Of course, but there's people that you meet in this business that you just like I don't know, man. After last weekend, I got like this. It was probably one of the scariest moments that I've been involved in. Like I've seen my kids get concussions. I've seen people get hurt, but Bliss ended up with vertigo in the middle of his match, and it was the scariest thing I ever saw, man. I thought he was going to have a stroke. I thought one of my best friends were dying, dude. I was like nobody could tell I was scared shitless, I took Bliss in his little rainbow boots and his little skimpy shorts, and I had my Rob Noxious gear, and I was supposed to be in the main event, and we went to the hospital and to the emergency room in our gear, and we spent 6 hours there, man, and I honestly was like, fuck, and when you see one of your brothers get fucked up like that, it's a crazy feeling, man, and it's scary, but he's doing all right now. He's back to work, and he said he's not sure about wrestling anymore, but after that scare, man, I don't know if anybody would feel any different than he does right now. So
no, like I didn't even know what happened. I saw his post thanking everybody, but I didn't really hear what happened.
Oh man, he just wrestled a normal match, and he just went down a little hard. I think he just went down a little hard on one of the spots, and it shook the crystal. We have crystals in our eardrums.
Yep.
And if the crystals get loose, and that's what happened to him, and so he couldn't stand. Every time he went to stand, he was dry heaving. It was crazy, man. And
that
then
happened to me at work.
Yeah.
Work, literally, and I worked at a medical precision. I was like, I can't see straight. Everything's really messed up. And they took me in, and they told me that that's why I learned about the crystals in the ear. I'm like, oh snap, for real? So I had to do a whole exercise of going this way and going the other way.
Yep, and that's what he has to do now. And what they did was, it was crazy because we were there for 6 hours, and the guy was like, we're going to keep you overnight. And then he was like, well, let me try this first before we even think about keeping you overnight. So he took the bed and took it like this, and he grabbed Bliss by the head at a 45-degree angle, and he took Bliss down like Bliss's head was all but at the floor. That's how they had the bed up, Bliss's head was down on the far side, and I was holding his shoulders so he wouldn't hit the floor. And then he would raise Bliss up, put him back down, raised him up, and then did the other side. And you could just see the difference in his color, in his face, and you could just see the relief coming over him. Like he went from being so sick and so dizzy and to being, wow, I feel so much better. Like he was still feeling shitty because they had him all drugged up, but it was like amazing to see when you saw the way he was earlier that day to what the doctor did, and it was amazing. It was short of a miracle. Dr. Muhammad was amazing.
Well, Bliss is very lucky to have you there by his side in that time of need.
I always got his back.
Now, now for everyone watching at home, I hope you got something out of this chat that we've been saying. Hey, especially the boys, the wrestlers. If you're on something, drugs, alcohol, whatever, get some help, man, because it's gonna further your career. Then that if you get off the stuff, you could get signed, whatever. If not, then whatever, so be it. But if you continue to stay on the stuff and you're coming to the shows, we don't want you there in the locker room, please. Please,
yeah,
make it safe for all of us out there. It's uncalled for. We need a nice work environment that we know that we're going to go to and be safe and be able to make it home to our families.
absolutely.
But Rob, damn, over an hour and a half with you, but it's all good though. But at this time, I would like for us to start jumping into our other topics that we didn't get to. We're probably not going to get to everything, but you're more than welcome to stay right there.
Sorry
and
about
talk
that, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say it might be some good insight with Rob. Rob might have some good insight.
This is stuff that people don't get to hear a lot. Like we could all talk stuff about wrestling and all that lovey-dovey stuff, but like this is real life stuff that we're bringing up that so some of the guys are scared to talk about. Okay, let's be honest. Like people are scared to talk about this stuff.
If y'all want to talk, y'all talking about wrestling?
Yeah, we were gonna let Mikey kick off our topic.
All right, real quick, Mikey. I want you to know, AEW outside of any of my students who Shane, Stefan, Jabal, all my students, they could have a shot at AEW. They just need that little bit of push to get there. But one of the guys that aren't my guy, but he is a Rob Noxious guy, because if it wasn't for him watching CCW, he wouldn't be a wrestler. But the best unsigned talent outside of my school, his name is Toby Farley. Look him up, check him out. AEW, WWE, somebody needs to sign this guy, because I'm telling you, Toby is amazing.
I'm gonna have to look him up. I never heard of him.
Never heard of him either.
All right, thank you. All right, so Mikey, take it away, brother. What is our first topic? Because we're short on time here, but
sorry, man.
No, you know what? Let's jump into the main topics that we were looking forward to talking about. Like, let's talk about Chris Jericho last night in the open match with MJF.
Yeah,
man, that was an awesome match.
me and Dennis were commenting, talking about how in T we were saying about how the fans were like so into the introduction. And wait, did you mention it, or did Dennis, or did you mention it when he cut the ring announcer off?
It was me. Look.
Okay.
Look. Here's the thing. As a wrestler, we can all agree having the fans sing your music is the best thing that ever happened. Okay. Jericho has, without a doubt, the greatest song to ever come out to. He wrote it.
Right.
But the fact that every show he goes to, the fans sing it. Okay.
Yeah.
Is even better. But last night was just special. Just pure special. Like that step that they had in there, you can't come out to your own music. You can't use your finisher. The fans literally had cue cards around ringside of the goddamn song. And they're singing it. And Chris Jericho is about to get announced. And he looks at the ring announcer. He's like, cut it, chick. Like, no. The real pure emotion on Jericho's face last night was beautiful.
Yeah.
You can't fake that. You can't fake coming out and having fans sing your song and not get enjoyment out of it, because that was enjoyment to me. As a wrestler, as a fan, I enjoyed every time. Like, I want to go to AEW show just to hear the fans sing Jericho's goddamn song in Philly, because Philly's gonna blow the hell up. That's how Philly is. Philly's a wrestling city, whether people believe it or not. But that was, without a doubt,
it is. It really is.
The most amazing. And the fact that people are so pissed off he lost to an armbar. Rob,
Yes.
Rob, I'm going to ask Rob this question. How many times have you seen someone actually tap out to a move as simple as an armbar?
I think it's absolutely amazing. I heard that was the finish, but I was actually at the school training, so we didn't get to watch it.
Look, I was watching it while I was at work today, because I was like, no way he tapped out just some normal, simple armbar. And I
think it's amazing. I think it's amazing because I stress to the guys at my show, when you're a heel, be a heel. You don't need to do fancy finishers. Just cheat. Do heel stuff. So I could appreciate that armbar. If I'm probably going to watch it when I get off with you guys.
Well, the thing is, it was being worked through the entire match, though, right?
Yeah, it actually has been getting worked through
the arm's been worked on for
of the matches. Like,
not even just that, they've been working the same arms since they did the match throughout
the blood and guts match. Like,
it's called telling a story, fellas. Telling a story.
Not just his 5 matches, for months they've been.
Oh yeah, for months.
And the payoff is exactly how they wanted it. If you don't believe Jericho and them wanted this payoff the way it is, as a fan, you just stop. Just don't even talk.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
stop it, because that payoff was beautiful. I love the old school.
And I love the classic heel stuff of MJF telling everybody shut up while they're singing the song. I love that stuff. I think that stuff is great.
It's the classic cheap heat,
Yeah.
But you know what?
Oh yeah.
But these internet trolls, when they want to bitch about him tapping out at an armbar, are the same ones bitching about Sting no selling going through the table. Now,
yep.
My thing on that was they 2.0 powerbomb Sting through a table. Sting gets up like nothing. All that does, it reminds me of Road Warrior Hawk when he's getting power driven and he gets up, flexes, sticks the tongue, and it's the adrenaline tough guy type, thing. Like, okay, you did this to me, but I'm gonna pop up and I'm gonna freak out.
Look, this was a conversation between the 2 students that I helped train at ACPW in a private chat. They were like, they didn't like it. I'm like, but why? Tell me why you did not like Sting doing that. They go, well, it made the table look weak. I'm like, do you understand who they powerbombed through the fucking table first off? I go, it'd be different if it was just some, guy that just started in the business or someone that's just getting their name established. I could see you being upset, but this is Sting, okay? He's always been that guy. One move gets him all round up, and they go. That's the end of the match. It's going home. And of course, it's exactly what happened. He got powerbombed through the table, turns around, Darby Allin drop kicks him, Scorpion death drop, puts him in the lock, and then they tapped out. I loved the ending. I loved it. Like,
same.
I don't like people when they no sell certain things, but when there are certain person in the business that have like that persona, like Hogan did it. How many times has Hogan done that?
Yeah,
takes a big bump and gets up
absolutely.
And
like, how many times did you watch half of any wrestling show and watch guys kick out a big move after big move after big move? That's just like no selling.
Especially you got all these cruiserweight guys getting dropped on their head. They should be dead.
It happens all the time in the indies every Saturday.
But they got no problem.
Actually sees it.
Look, I think Tony Deppen even said something on the internet. Everybody that's bitching about Sting kicking it, coming out, no sell on the table spot, but don't bitch about anything else. Just shut up and go away, please. Like,
Sting ain't got nothing to prove, not a soul. Not a soul. He ain't got nothing to prove to his soul. He wants to pop back up and kayfabe it. fuck it, just fuck it. Like it would have been different. It would have been some nobody, like they say, he popped out of nowhere. I'm like, well, who is you? I know Sting. I know Sting from WCW back in '89 and shit. Who are you to pop out? Like I told him, like it would have been Orange Cassidy. The Marks would have popped, but us would have been like, okay, how does this make sense?
If the Undertaker got power bombed through a table and he did the Undertaker sit up like Michael Myers.
Oh my God, they would have went nuts. Oh, we loved it. It was great.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
But the here's the thing: the best part is the fans that are bitching about it are the fans that are shitting on AEW all day long.
But they're still watching it.
Yeah, exactly.
Look,
exactly. That's the point they don't get.
I love when I see fans and workers bitch about WWE sucks and AEW is this.
My
and
thing
AEW
is
sucks
this:
and WWE is great. I'm like, y'all are in the business. Shut up.
My thing it is, you guys can bitch all you want. Just keep buying tickets and buying my merch.
Mm-hmm.
I look at it this way. Like,
remember, you're still watching it. They still got you.
Why, if you're a worker, why bitch about the guys who are there? They're there for a reason because they made it. So why bitch at them for what they're doing? Like, it's just appreciate the fact that they made it because they're jealous that they're not there.
They're not there.
But never criticize them for doing what they're doing because they made it, and good for them, So,
but I watch all the products, whether I like some of the outcomes and the things they do.
Oh, believe me, there's a lot I can't stand, but
I know. I can guarantee if we would all sit together like actually in person and watching an event, the shit that all comes out of our mouth of saying what the we would have to put $1 for every time we curse at the TV for something they should not have done. We would probably
we could pay for a pay-per-view.
I don't know. I think we'd have enough money to go to like a fancy restaurant to pay for like 5 of us.
Yeah.
Like, look, I don't care. I get it. WWE does what they do. AEW does what they do. My only pet peeve, and I say it all the time, is I can't stand when I don't see the workers on TV don't wipe the damn feet. It's the only thing I will always bitch about on the internet. Wipe the damn feet.
Some of them do. Some of them do.
Some of them do. William Regal still does it. He's not even wrestling anymore. He gets in there in his nice outfit, wipes his feet. Like, what? And some of these guys go, I don't wipe my feet when I get in the ring. Well, why not?
Jeff Hardy does. Jeff Hardy does it.
Yo, yes, he does.
When he's dancing on the side of the ring, he puts it right in his dance moves. He's like wiping his feet as he's dancing. And
that's how
you could do it.
When I get into the ring, I do the whole, I throw my leg up and sweep it. I sweep my leg when I go in, and I sweep the other leg when I get in. Everybody's like, oh, you don't wipe your feet. And I show them on video. I go, yes, I do. It's right there.
I just wipe mine nice and slow just to be a dick to people.
I want to know, what do you guys think? Now, I read about I want to know what your opinion are if it's a hint at CM Punk arriving with Kenny Omega wearing a different T-shirts, supposed hints being dropped. Do you think that it's an actual hint of CM Punk showing up at Rampage tomorrow?
The teasers are everywhere because besides the shirt, you had Darby Allin talking about the best in the world. Then you had Kenny Omega. 1 week he's wearing a Cookie Monster shirt, commenting about, CM. It was known fact that people speculated that CM stand for Cookie Monster. Then the following week he's wearing a shirt that says Chick Magnet on, which CM Punk, he referenced that, he used to be in a group called the Chick Magnets. Now, it's funny because Punk was recently there was a video online of him doing commentary during a MMA fight, and as he's talking on there, the other announcer made some kind of reference to the two guys fighting. They were down on the mat, and then he said about the guy, oh yeah, he's all elite, and then Then the other announcer was like, "Oh yeah, these like hidden messages, like puns and stuff like that." He's like, "Yeah,"
Right.
And Punk was like, "Yeah, I gotta watch out for those things." So it's like they're keep playing it off back and forth, back and forth. Now, will he show up tomorrow night? Yes or no? If he doesn't, how many fans in the wrestling world be highly pissed off and trolling the internet?
Oh yeah.
Let me ask you this question. So, do you like the fan in me is like this? AEW would do great with CM Punk, but do you feel like remember when we finally got to see Ric Flair versus Hulk Hogan?
Mm-hmm.
It was way too late.
It was way too late. And that's what I think. CM Punk coming now is just like, okay, you're coming. But when AEW first started, he should have been there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think it would have had a better impact, as in now everyone's like, oh, he's coming. I think it's like Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan now. You know what I mean? Like,
with all due respect, CM Punk is not Hulk Hogan.
well, true. But you know, it's just. I'm just saying the whole atmosphere is totally different now.
Right.
Like,
yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. Like,
it's like this,
Punk,
Rob. It's like this. It's like how you're saying about the Flair Hogan. It's like the same thing. How Hogan and Warrior WrestleMania 6. As soon as they're both in WCW, they try to recreate it.
exactly.
It was a total shit show.
Look, it was Taker versus freaking Goldberg. For how long did we all want that match?
I can honestly say I've never wanted a Goldberg match in my life.
Thank you, ever.
People wanted to see Goldberg versus Taker. They finally got it, and it was a shit show.
The match that I wanted to see that was a shit show was Goldberg and Brock and
oh yeah, with Stone Cold.
And the only good part was Stone Cold. That was it.
Yeah, that's because they both were lost.
Yeah,
they were completely lost.
Jamal's killing me in the comments right now.
What's he saying? I can't see no comment.
He goes, Chico.
Keep forever calling
it's like Macho
Chico
versus Ric Flair. CM Punk wish he had Hogan talent. Never. About the whole Goldberg versus Taker, I'm pretty sure that's what he's saying. Never to.
Well, see, I think CM Punk. Me personally, I think CM Punk could have been the next Stone Cold. Honestly.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think that he, you know, I don't know if, you know, we all read certain things, if it was his ego that stood in the way or whatever, but you know, some guys don't understand, like they let wrestling go to their head, but in the end it's a fucking work, man. You know.
I think what would probably put him over as being the next Stone Cold is how they teased it when he came when he was with the sit down promos he did with Steve. Like if we the fans were asking for it, and if they would have gave us the Punk Stone Cold match, it probably would have shot Punk even higher than what he is now. If we would have got it, but we never did. So
I'm more excited to see Daniel Bryan in AEW than.
Well, speaking of Daniel Bryan,
that's my thing. I don't think Punk's showing up tomorrow. I honestly think it's a swerve. It's going to be Daniel Bryan tomorrow.
And honestly, there's talks about Bryan wants to go to New Japan and work with Ospreay over there.
Well, Ospreay just pretty much said he's done working for them in New Japan and wants to take the title elsewhere. So, if you think about it, Tony Khan has opened the door for other promotions to work with AEW.
Oh yeah,
you got
work
Impact,
with everyone.
You have New Japan, you have
NWA, right?
NWA, MLW is with Vince. You know, from that partnership, I don't know if that actually went through or not, but AEW is literally working with everybody to give everybody a platform to work on.
Well, now, please come to Classic Championship Wrestling.
I like that they do that.
Like, I love the fact that like you have all these shows and you're seeing guys that you never heard of from indie shows that we've all actually seen on our shows.
Yeah, we
working
worked
them, and
with,
it's
we're
like, look,
friends with
they
them,
get their shot, and
especially on Dark.
and like what you, Rob's, like what Rob said, like 100%, I agree. Like his kids absolutely can go work on there. I'll say this: I would love to see Ping on freaking AEW because they'd be mind blown by what this kid can do. And I've been in the ring with them on my very first match back, and I got killed. I love you, Jamal. Don't worry. I gotta work you first.
I'm sorry, I just seen this. I gotta put it up.
Oh man,
you a cracker. But no, like every one of Rob's kids understand wrestling. That's the thing. They understand it. They get it. That's the hard thing about training anymore these days. Like kids don't get it. People that are training don't get it at all, and they're training people to try to figure out how to wrestle. Like you can't train if you don't get it. How are you training people?
I honestly wish that we had to like pass a state athletic commission test to be able to train people to actually give them a license to wrestle. You know what I mean? Almost like we're actual teachers,
like a personal trainer does. They
or like a college, or like a trade school. You know what I mean? And we had to give them this certificate of like a real one that would be acknowledged by the state athletic commission. You know what I mean? And then that would weed out all the bullshit that's in this business. So that's just my idea.
Well, speaking about
it's a good idea.
Out the bullshit in the business. Well, the bullshit being WWE, and they keep weeding out their roster, people leaving and this and that, and AEW is just picking up the ball. And we've seen all the videos. First, Moxley, that his like, and we talked about it on air on Saturday, how everyone was incarcerated. You had Moxley. Then after that, you had was it Malachi Black? You know, and then after that, then you had Buddy Murphy, exactly. And then now you got Ruby Soho, which it's not confirmed that she's going to AEW, but you can just imagine with all the other stuff going on, she's gonna end up there because her thing is like in our video it's called The Runaway. Rob, if you have not seen it, look up Ruby Soho, The Runaway. It's Ruby Riot. It's just basically everyone leaving WWE. Basically, Rob, everyone leaving who left or leaving WWE, who's probably transcending to AEW. Each of the videos of them are all institutionalized, whether it's incarceration or in a mental institute or something like that. So it's like
Ruby's is the only one that was kind of different.
That's what they're doing. They're breaking free of WWE, that institution.
But do you ever think that Tony Khan thinks, well, shit, Vince was paying these people and Vince was giving these people all platforms to work, and they're talking shit on Vince. Like, do you ever think that maybe he's thinking, are these people going to do the same shit to me and talk shit on me afterwards? Like, you know what I mean? Like
issues, absolutely. I would think they would.
I think they're giving them. I'm sure probably the money. They're probably not going for the money. Hey, the money is great. Probably for more creative type of who they are, their character, what they're doing. I think that's what they're more looking at.
Well, yeah, but if you give everyone creative control
to a point
of everything that they do, then you're running a fucking abandoned ship. Like everyone's fucking doing what they want.
No, that I understand, but I'm saying maybe they're giving these certain wrestlers creative control to a point, not where it's said, okay, you can't go this far overboard, blah blah. We will put some stipulations in place, but we understand how unhappy you were before, and you see yourself doing something better, which they were holding you back. So we're gonna give you that little leash, that little leeway to try to express yourself a little better. Like basically AEW. Okay, I hope these guys can agree with me on this. I don't know if he's will or not. It's just a a giant glorified indie show. It's everything that guys are doing on the indies, but at a big WWE type scale with the money they have in the back end.
I like seeing the different people on AEW more than I do seeing like, okay, cool. It's cool to see Christian, but I'd rather see the other guys.
Where'd you go, Rob? I see half your head.
I'd rather see all the other guys than
He's
Sorry, my phone
disappearing.
slipped. My phone slipped down. I would rather see the other guys do, the stuff that they're doing on there.
I agree.
Like
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a fan of Orange Cassidy with those kicks and shit, but he's got a following, man, and you can't hate him for that. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, I'm gonna jump over here to
Plus,
the
it's
chat
newer
room.
talent.
I'm gonna jump over here to the chat
Absolutely.
room and see if I can grab a question or two from people chiming in. Here's one from Mari Babette. I hope I said that right.
Oh yeah, Mary Babette. Yep.
Yeah, there you go. What are your guys' thoughts about WWE letting go of Bray Wyatt? I believe
Stupid.
I think we talked about this before, but we can go into it. You know what? Let's get Rob's
Absolutely.
thought.
I really don't know. Like, I read like two different things about Bray Wyatt. Like, the only thing I really read was about him not being in the right frame of mind, and because of the whole Luke Harper thing. And if that's true, then I heard he wasn't even thinking about wrestling again. So, the fact that they let him go, it might just be a mental thing. And who's to say that he's not going to come back? This could be just a ploy from Vince to make everyone forget that Bray Wyatt was the Fiend, and then he comes back like the Undertaker one time. You know what I mean? Like, he could go into hiding and be like, okay, I'm done wrestling, and then Vince has done some crazy shit before. Like, I don't think WWE's seen the last of Bray Wyatt, honestly. But I think they messed up by letting Brock take the streak anyway. It should have been Bray Wyatt.
Oh, I agree 100% on that one.
So.
Yeah, I thought for sure it was going to be Bray Wyatt.
I'm still not a fan of Brock taking the streak.
I would rather Bray Wyatt than the Fiend any day of the week.
Yep. Oh, 100%. I 100% agree with that one. I would have preferred that over any finish at a WrestleMania than that or Roman Reigns winning. And I have no issues with Roman. I think Roman's a great worker, like all-around worker. I just didn't think, okay, we'll have Taker lose to Lesnar, and then Taker's going to lose to Roman. Like, why?
Yeah.
But again, their decisions. They make these decisions, and they go with it. And now everybody doesn't like Roman as it is, but that's just another thing to hate about him is he did take out Taker at Mania.
And it's great though. It pissed people off, and that's what they were looking to do.
Oh, definitely pissed. I think Roman beating Taker pissed more people off than Lesnar beating Taker.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Hey, Dennis. Here's a question I can direct towards you because we talked about the Fiend before. Because you said about him owning the rights to the mask and not WWE, right?
Yep.
Tammy Sue chimed in with about the Fiend gimmick. Will it end up in AEW with his cryptic message on Twitter saying you can't kill it? Now, with him owning the rights to the Fiend mask and stuff.
Well, he owns the rights to the mask, not the gimmick.
Okay, but
so the Fiend and Bray Wyatt is a WWE thing. That's them. All Bray Wyatt owns is that mask. He paid for it.
So he can. So basically, he can still show up wearing the mask and just call it something else.
But it'd be a different character, yeah.
Yeah, but again, the thing is, why would you?
Yeah.
Like if you're out of WWE, like here's the thing: when you leave WWE, I think a fresh look and a fresh thing to do is the best way to do it.
Well, apparently he's
showing up to AEW with
him shaving the beard off.
Yeah, he has no beard. He cut all the hair off. It was a weird picture to see him.
Him and Braun. I'm like, yo, what the hell?
I think Braun's going back into strongman lifting stuff. That's why.
Yeah.
But
I know Braun's been counting down the days. I've
That's
seen
for
that.
Rob to see.
There you go, Rob. What's the chances for CCW bringing back Ryan Lute or Greg Spitz?
I would love to bring back either one of those. Ryan Lute lives in Tennessee. He's a new daddy to a baby girl.
Oh, it'll be a drive.
Yeah, I would love to see Ryan come back, but I think Ryan, his days are long past. But Greg Spitz, oh man, I would book Greg Spitz any day of the week. I love Greg Spitz.
He's funny as hell. Where the hell? I just ran into him at Super Crazy. He was out there. I was over there. I was over there checking out the show with O Dog's place. Great shit going out there. If you have never got a chance to get out there, you or your students, like one day, just make a road trip out there.
When we were at the field house, we were talking about it, and I made plans to go, but this brain of mine doesn't work that well, and the days that I had plans with the wife, and
gotcha.
So I definitely need to get up there. We were going to take a road trip, to all my students were, it was just going to be like a big old field trip. We were going to go up there and
take like a nice Saturday when they're training, head out there.
Yeah,
like early Saturday.
They were going to learn from us. We were going to learn from them, and I still want to do it, but it's so hard getting all my guys together because a lot of them are getting booked all over. So, it's so hard to get them all on the same page. We would have to do it on a Sunday morning and all go up during one of our training days.
Yeah.
So, but I still want to do it because, he's got some pretty good guys up there. So, and he's got a lot of guys coming in there training with him too, man. Like,
oh, definitely. Or he had Ortiz. He has Homicide, G's.
Yeah, G's. And Homicide alone, and
Ariel.
Cortez, man. Like they are, the three of those guys alone are amazing. So.
Well, gentlemen, I hate to do this. We are past our 2-hour mark. I love talking. It was great. If it wasn't for us getting up and going to work in the morning, because otherwise we could probably sit here and bullshit about everything else. And you know what? I'm gonna have to say this right now. This had to be one of our highest watched shows because just being live, and that's not counting people who are going to watch the replays or who didn't get a chance to watch it tonight. Just in the live room tonight, our most we had like 25, but that's high for us for being live as we're on air. But then the numbers grow as hours go on. But Rob, thank you for
right.
Thank you for booking this for us, bringing in the fans. We needed it. We finally got our namer on the show. Yes, we made numbers.
All right.
You hear that, Pat? We made numbers. And we cursed while we did it.
And it was free. It was free.
Awesome. Rob,
yes.
What's the next CCW event coming up? Do you have by chance?
Yes, September 11th, Marysville.
Damn, there's a lot of going on September 11th. I can't make it.
Of course you can.
No, there's so many shows going on that there's you, Super Crazy, someone else going on in this area.
I think PPW's that day too.
And I'll be up in North Jersey that day too. So damn. All right.
I'm sorry.
So okay, you said so September 11th in Marysville. And they can find out more information about CCW on their Facebook page or.
Yep, we got Classic Championship Wrestling on Facebook. We got Fort Noxious. We got my page. We got Valor. Because that's my sister company as well as Seven Mountains.
Now,
so
I got a question. Who's your webmaster? Because I don't think you updated that .com in a while.
Oh well, there's a new
I go back
.com.
And I look at it. What the hell?
There's no ccw.com anymore, but Mel Havoc took over the web designs of things for Fort Noxious and things like that. So,
all right,
but we're working on it, because I can't like I'm on my phone because I refuse to mess with a computer like a laptop. I'd break it because
something piss you off and you throw it.
yeah,
Like, damn, I
yeah.
gotta buy another one.
Yeah. So, but yeah,
All right.
yeah. And
Do
then
you have any?
Black Friday is our 20th anniversary, so we're going to
You talking
like
about during Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
yeah. If you're not at this show, then you're gonna miss out. That's everybody. 20 years.
That'd be the
Oh yeah,
weekend.
we're gonna turn it up.
And if I ain't doing nothing, that'd
Just
be the
means I
weekend.
gotta show. That just means I need to be there because look, Rob gave me plenty of opportunities to be there, so I definitely would want to be there for your 20th anniversary. So I think we just say it now, Chia. We might as well just do a live breakfast, a breakfast and body slams
live from
absolutely
CCW 20th anniversary edition.
That sounds like I gotta look at my calendar, make sure I'm not anywhere, which I don't think I am, so I should be good.
I don't got anything for November, so I can schedule that for me. I'm just saying.
And then who knows? Who knows? Rob might need a sound guy for that night. So
yeah, who knows? I might need a sound guy.
Rob, are we still gonna form the tag team, the Buffet Brothers?
That's great. Oh my God, that's
2011. Great. He probably don't remember it.
Dude, I've been hit so many times in the head. I don't remember shit anymore. I gotta ask my kids when their birthday is half the time.
I keep it programmed in my phone. I get notifications. I'm good with that.
Well, Haley usually does that when I get a new phone, but she hasn't.
Guess what day's coming up soon? A reminder here and there.
Thank God for Facebook. I know whose birthday it is.
Yeah.
Look, I wish Facebook was good on my cell phone. It doesn't tell me anybody's goddamn birthdays anymore. I'm like, oh, someone had a birthday? Oh shit, I forgot to wish. I need to wish them a belated birthday now. Like, dude, I wish the app is so stupid. Laptops will tell me it's their birthday. Cell phone, no. I'll find out like from somebody else if I see them post like, hey, I want to thank everybody that wished me a happy birthday. Oh, that's an important person in my life. I gotta. Oh shit, that was days ago. My bad. I owe you a drink later, man. So, I miss my own cousin's birthday. That's how bad I am on the social media accounts. Okay.
So anyway, everyone, I want to thank Rob for coming on CCW September 11th in Marysville. Dennis, I'm guessing you have a date for ACPW.
Yep, September 4th. It will be at the Media Community Center in Media, PA. The card is getting changed again. All I know is I'm facing Corpse and possibly going to have his little group of people at ringside with him because I kind of called him out last Saturday and said, Chris Sutton's friends are they're all Chris Sutton's puppets and bitches. So I lit a oops. Oh, well, shit happens. But controversy case.
Chris Sutton, exactly. That's a name I haven't heard of ever.
Yeah, he's still around. But yeah, so me versus Corpse. Have never wrestled him, known him for a long time, but he hasn't said anything about my response last week, and I'm waiting
first time for everything.
And it'll be the first time for us facing, and the last time he's in the ring. So,
all right, Mikey, you got any shows coming up yourself? I doubt it. We're trying to get him to go to a damn indie show somewhere. It's so hard.
God damn, that was called I Doubt It.
He's like, I doubt it.
Wait. No. He got one. He got to be there September 4th with you just to go cheer his brother on.
I don't know if he's wrestling now. I don't know what's going on. He was supposed to face the training, and now he's not facing him.
Right.
What? Why not?
What a job.
I don't know. Ask your brother.
That's why he's Patty Melt. So, you got no shows coming up, do you?
No, not unless you say, hey, we're going to do something, or somebody actually fucking books me. I ain't never really been booked unless you say, hey, you coming? But, if you want to follow me, MYRDG Hi God. That's HIGUY at Twitter. I follow everybody and their mother
And if
and pop stuff.
And if you can't remember that, you can simply go to bodyslams.pro, click on the Breakfast and Body Slams link, and all you got to do is click on the word that says analysts, because that's what we are. We are analysts. And you go to each of our profiles, and each of our Twitter pages are linked right there. You can click on and go to our.
Oh my God.
Yes, they can click and go. But then I'm going to need your guys' info so I can add in your podcast debut, birthday, favorite wrestler, favorite food, some bullshit so people can read, like it's just a hiccup.
Holy shit,
But,
I'm official?
Yes, it's official. It's online.
I'm official, y'all.
Yeah,
I'm actually part of a company.
You're official.
20 years in the business.
We're all official.
Yeah.
This is why we're the prime show. This is why we're the prime show.
I even put Pat and Austin on there too as well. But for my little cheap plugs for upcoming shows, August 28th, WXW C4 will be at Sunbury Ice Rink in Sunbury, PA. They will have the head shrinkers, Samu and Fatu. Fatu, aka the Hall of Famer Rikishi, will be in the house. Also, third generation, the future Lance Anoa'i. And as seen on AEW Dark recently, the Sambo Show, Siler Andrews and Sam Adams, and many more.
And don't forget, August 29th, they're going to be at Revolutionary Wrestling as well.
There you go. Revolutionary Wrestling, August 29th.
At HMAC.
And where's that at?
Rikishi and Gangrel.
Are we doing the meet and greet on the 28th?
I'm not going to be there.
If not, there's one on the 29th.
No. We're talking about. He's talking about. There's a Devereaux Sports meet and greet that they're doing.
Yeah,
I'll be there.
And I'm going to be unavailable to do that because I'll be at the show.
I'll be there. I'll be at that one.
Another September 11th attraction will be Pro Wrestling Magic at the Knights of Columbus in Ridgefield Park, New Jersey, as well as September 18th, Hamburg, Pennsylvania, Outbreak Wrestling, already announced, Duke the Dumpster Drosy. Now, with that being said, it was one hell of a night. I'm going to say our highest rated, like I said earlier. I want to thank once again Rob Noxious for coming on. Thank you, brother. Love you. This is great seeing you on here. And
thank you, guys.
Nice meeting you, Rob.
Nice meeting you.
Shout out to everybody at Devereaux Sports, all the teams and their podcasts. You can catch them on Saturdays as well as Sundays. You have to check back when we have all the official lineup up to date. The Gobbler Inc., the Sullivan Squad, the MMA Misfits, the old heads, and Cheesecake Chucky and Hambo, whatever they're gonna call their show. We have not figured that one out yet, and them 215 boys as well. But for Dennis, Mikey, T, and Rob, I'm Chio Frost, and you're watching Thursday Night Slam on Breakfast and Body Slams podcast.
Deuces.
And we're going to end this one more time, which you already saw before, but we're going to do it again. Ox Soprano and Ted Lowe, Best in the World, featuring Rob Noxious and Adrian Bliss. Peace. Thank you.
Thanks, man. See you guys.
See everyone.
Yo, this is New Jack, the original gangster. And I'm stopping by to give a shout out to Ox Soprano and Ted Lowe, Art of Collaborating Volume 2. Check that shit out. If you don't, I will stamp your ass in the motherfucking forehead. Please believe it, bitch.
Executioner with a lariat. Black roots quite strong, brother, like Harriet. Hand me the torch, yeah, I carry it. The game's in a crisis right now, about to marry it. Horses and the carriages with some chariots depend on me. Quite clear, all embarrassments, put them on the shelf, and I'ma get it rolling. Your whole state hates you, yeah, James to you is whack. Leave it up to me, I'm flowing in my Nindo. Backbreaker bitches all through the window. All over info and you ain't here right. Grab him by his throat, windpipe, say goodnight. Atoning for my sins, for staying in the fight. Best in the world, going in for life.
I'm not a bastard. I'm the best in the world.
Yeah, this team fucking Fort Knock over here. We with the champion Rob Noxious. We with the Black Militia. And you already know Ox Soprano in this bitch. Fuck Blizz.
Yo, Yo, Aaron. Let's talk about Adrian Bliss, the thug homo, who thinks he's badass.
Little Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart's a lot taller than he is. Yo, Bliss, you gonna be the champ?
This the best in the world right here.
You coming after the champ? I'm the champ of champions. Don't forget it. Remember, Bliss. 1, 2, 3. Lights out, baby boy.
Know that. Special type of breed, birth from a seed. Don't get fooled by the life that I lead. The air that I breathe, I bleed for it too. My fam and myself, we gon' always make it through. Bro, if I got you, all I'm asking is the same. And I hate a nigga that can do, but watch it go up in flames. No room for no games, no lames or no shames. Militant mindset is still in my brain. Artillery stand tall, as big as a crane. My mama pain made me bleed to go hard and break the cycle. That's what I heard from my paws. Hustle around the clock until my heart stop.
Yo, my dad, my man right here, he's gonna give you business.
That's right, Rob Noxious. I'ma tear you apart. My man right here, he came and got the best that ever did it. And if you don't think I'm gonna destroy you, you're sadly mistaken.
And your manager can get it too.
I'm not a bastard. I'm the best in the world.
Energy low, but my energy high. They say you judge a man by the look in his eyes. See so many people monopolize, and I respect those that stayed and always tried. Who cried? I feel your pain, that's real. Blessing to the OG, still sharp and still. I got brothers that need appeals, families that got bills. Not time to chill. I'm working out this deal. I'm climbing up this hill, the hill going up. Prices through the roof like the economy throwing up. Protect your loved ones, hold the stand, and show them who's the man.
This is world-renowned pro wrestler and former heavyweight champion Raven. And this is the best in the world in the art of collaboration, Volume 2, with Ted Love and Ox Soprano. Quote the Raven, nevermore. That should be a take.